الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم. Eid Mubarak. Alhamdulillah. Inshallah we'll have the Salat al-Eid now. You know there's no iqamah. Istaqimu wa yarhamakumullah. Stand up, make the road straight. If you use a website to find out how the prayer should be done, and even in the first searches you'll find 2 or 3 different ways that are cited as being the proper way. I'll tell you how we're going to do it. We're going to do 7 takbirah in the first, not including the very beginning, the takbir tahrima, and then after that we'll do 7, and then the prayer goes forward as usual, then we stand up, and then there'll be 5, then we make the recitation of the Quran in both cases after the takbirah, and then we will conclude as usual. After that there is the Eid Khutbah, inshallah, and I recognize the foundation that we're sitting on, so don't worry. Make our road straight and even, leave no space between the shaitan and dividers of our roads on straight up. Allahu Akbar. 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 Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. الحاكم تكاثر حتى زرتم المكابر كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين لترعون الجحيم ثم لترعونها عين اليقين ثم لا تسألون يومئذ عن النعيم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. 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 بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالعلي العظيم. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالعلي العظيم. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تباركت اسمك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا عبدك وعبدك ما استطعت أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت أعوذ لك بنعمتك علي وأعوذ لك بذنبي فاغفر لي إنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفه عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهم وهو علي العظيم. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. تكبير. الحمد لله رب العالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. Alhamdulillah, both recitations in the Salah really framed for me the brief comments that we intend to make today. Alhamdulillah, the day is met with the news of hundreds of people, the Hujjaj dying in Mina at the place of the stoning of the Jamara. And if you've ever made Hajj, then you know how really dangerous that time, that moment, that situation is. Even when I was more physically robust, not as physically big, but physically robust. In 2001, when I went to do that stoning, I understood why the frail are not encouraged to go at that time. Because it took all of the energy I had at that time to get out of that moment. Oh, okay. Got you. All right. Alhamdulillah. Rabbil Alameen. I hope you heard some of what I said because I'm not going back. And so our prayers and our concern and our conscience has to be as it would be normally because of the day, but particularly in light of the tragedy, we have to call it, the tragedy that happened at the beginning of Hajj and the tragedy that has happened at the end of Hajj. There's a saying, he said, God is trying to tell you something. But are you listening? Because we know that when people come to Hajj, it's understood that this is Allah's invitation. You come by Allah's invitation. And when Allah accepts you, accepting His invitation, He brings you there. And Allah is never absent at any time or place. So you have to ask yourself, God, what are you trying to tell us by this? Because no matter what happens, Allah is never absent at any time or place. My sisters, I got you. Turn your ears up. You can hear it. That's a joke. That's a joke. This is family. I'd have to almost eat the mic in order. That's better. Eat it then, huh? Okay. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Don't y'all want to get off this hard concrete? Get a minute? All right, so here we go. So another verse that really struck me in speaking to this. Hold it right here. So I know we have some performers who are on stage. They can give me a tutorial in a hot second and say, hold the mic like this. So I'm going to imitate some of the models that I've seen on these videos and on the pictures, and I'm going to hold the mic just like this, inshallah. So listen, here's one thing. My conversation to you, the way I'm talking to you right now, you should understand I'm family. You should really understand that I'm family. And you should really understand that I see you as family. I don't see any of you as strangers. I don't see any of you as somebody I need to watch out for, I need to look out for. Don't talk to them, don't hug them, don't shake their hand. I'm not from that. So that's why I'm not stuck on the formal stuff, and I don't reject the formal. But the reality of our situation calls for us to get right down to what's really going on, what's really happening, what really has to be addressed. And I think that this is what Allah is telling us. I think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the Muslims, you need to be more on what you claim as Islam. I'm not going to go into the self-accusing spirit mode at all, but I really want us to really think about that. Because think about what we complain about. Think about what I'm talking about Muslims in America of all stripes. Think about what it is that we think we have to complain about. Look at this sky, look at this space, look at this environment. Look at what's going on. And then think about Syria, and think about Burma, and think about what's going on with the quote-unquote migrants, right? They changed that language so they can manipulate it. But I'm not even going to make this a political conversation or communication. We Muslims in America, man, we don't have any. If all we have to complain about is the mic ain't clear on Eid, come on. But listen to the citation. Seeking after the riches and the ni'mat and the precious things, and trying to live in the better zip codes, and trying to drive the better cars, and trying to wear the better scarves, and trying to wear the better kufis, and trying to eat the better food, and trying to have all the better credentials, etc., etc. All that drives us until death comes to us. So sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala faces us with an unavoidable death, an unavoidable specter as it relates to death, to tell us, okay, what are you doing to get ready for when your time comes? Is your interest only to have good credit and drive the late model car and have a closet full of good looking dress? Or are you preparing yourself for the ultimate end and the ultimate destiny? So I'm saying to us as Muslims that we have to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the grace that He has bestowed upon us, and not get stuck on anything that holds us back from interacting and cooperating with each other in ways that will lead us to the destiny in this life and the next that Allah has promised. And Allah has promised us excellence in this world, and we pray for it all the time. He promised us excellence in this world and excellence in the world to come. But connect that also with a verse in the Quran where it says, don't make your own hands contribute to your own destruction. It goes a long way to a lot of things, but the only point that I'll focus on right at this second is that it's what you do, i.e. with your hands, that causes you to either give yourself life or give yourself death. If you keep your hands in your pocket when you should be pulling it out and giving it, you're making your own hands contribute to your own destruction. If you are acting in ways that you should not act, then you're making your own hands contribute to your own destruction. So we have to ask ourselves, what are we doing in order to realize the good in this life and the good in the life that comes hereafter? I know a family, they're not Muslim, they're not Muslim, but I know a family of sisters. And these sisters are in their 80s. And these sisters have an internal enmity towards each other that has been from the time that they were young girls in their family. But even at the funeral of one of the older girls, they were still sharing that mutual rivalry, that enmity between them, blood in the same family, and they're all about 80 years old at the funeral of one of their 90-year-old sisters. So you got to ask yourself, do I want to carry some baggage, some emotional baggage, in a lot of these times and opportunities that I have here? Do I want to carry that to the grave? Or do I want to be rid of that? And do I want to move on and be what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be? Understand, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He sends the messengers, He sends the mubashirin wa munzirin. He sends them as bringers of good news and as warners. So I hope you can appreciate the balance in what we're saying. Yeah, there's good news, but then there's also a warning in what we're saying. There's good news that, alhamdulillah, we're in a good situation. The bad news is for us, and what we're to be warned against is, are we acting as Muslims in the way that we should? And if you are, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, watawasaw bil haqq wa watawasaw bis sabr. Let us mutually influence each other to live out the reality that we say we have accepted. And let us mutually influence each other with being patient with each other. But actually the word sabr, it means, sometimes you have to have the courage to act, and sometimes you have to have the courage to be still. And that's what sabr is also. So in the context of us here in America, I want to conclude the comments that I have here with that ayah, that surah, it says, Surah Al-Ma'un, Surah Al-Ma'un. I believe it's 108, 107. Many of the people in this audience right here, some of them are Uber drivers. Others maybe for Lyft. Others for maybe you have used Airbnb. Airbnb is, it's a pet name that the air part is given because of the way that it started, but it's bed and breakfast in practically every country around the world. And there's a label for that that's called the sharing economy. That's the language in the culture right now, that we have the sharing economy. And what the sharing economy essentially draws on is what's called latent potential. Latent resources. We know about latent potential. Latent resources. That means they use drill bits usually as the model. That is, you have power drills. Right? You have the power drills, and they say the average power drill is used about 13 minutes by the one who owns it. You go buy one, and then you use it for 13 minutes. Then you put it in the garage, you put it in the tool shed, put it in the toolbox, and it's not seen again for who knows how long. And they say that there are millions of people who own these drills, but the average one will use it for 13 minutes. So what is that? That's latent resources. That's resources that are not being used. So the thinkers said, well, why don't we create a situation where we can aggregate the use of these drills so that the owner can get a benefit from it, and the other one, the user, can get a benefit from it, and they don't have to buy a drill. They already bought it. So why do I need to buy a drill? I only need it for 13 minutes. Here, let me pay you for using this drill for 13 minutes, and I'm going to give it right back to you. That's the sharing economy. And Uber is the same way. It's called peer-to-peer. I know many of you know about this, but I'm speaking to us as Muslims. Have you not seen the one who gives the lie to the religion? Who gives the lie? They lie with the religion. Meaning they got the religion, but they're lying. How you know they're lying? Allah said, let there be traffic and trade amongst you with mutual goodwill. I can take $1, give it to this brother right here. And this brother can give it to that brother right there. And that brother, that same dollar, all the way down the line, it's not a different dollar. I give him the dollar as a tip for working in a restaurant. And then he takes his dollar and he gives it to a taxi driver to take him home. Or an Uber driver, either way. Then he gives it, goes to the gas station, and he gives it to the gas station man in order to put gas in his car. And then the gas station man goes get a haircut with the same dollar. Okay? So that same dollar has been used 4 times. Same dollar has been used 4 times. It's just $1, but in the economy, just in my limited example, that dollar is now $4 in that economy. But if I give this man $1 and then he go take it somewhere else, well, that's $1 out of our economy. This is on Hajj. One of the things that struck me, I know it struck many of you as well. أبغي لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك له لبيك إن الحمد والنعمات لك والملك لا شريك له الحمد لله رب. So you have millions of Muslims declaring their presence in obedience to Allah, fulfilling the rituals that Allah has ordered for them. And the beauty of the Hajj is an invitation for us to come together and be one humanity as we were in the beginning. That's what it all represents. And we can cooperate on the rituals. But when it comes time to do things that make a difference, that have an impact on our real conditions, we balk. So you can take that dollar and multiply it by the number of people here, and that $1 becomes whatever the number is here. But what if we did $100? What if we did $1,000? And then we would have our own economy. So many of the problems that we have as a Muslim, as a group and collectivity, is because we don't obey what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. Let there be traffic and trade amongst you with mutual goodwill. Allah has ordered that. He has ordered that just like He has ordered salat, zakat, and hajj, fasting, etc. How well do we cooperate with each other economically? And you should understand that it's in our enemy's interest that you never even think about, that nobody ever even talks to you about creating your own Islamic economy, about sharing the wealth between you. They want to encourage you to keep your wealth siloed. Let the poor Muslims be poor Muslims. They just got to make it on their own. Well, see, that's too much of an American in your mindset if that's the way that you are. And the Muslims who have it, they have an obligation to those who don't. Those who don't, they have an obligation to make themselves more useful, valuable, add value to themselves, cooperate with each other. And in that way, the things that we moan about will be corrected just by obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm only using the economy as one. The same thing applies politically. The same thing applies educationally. The same thing applies culturally. Where are we That's what Eid is about. That's what Eid-Adha is about. That's what Hajj is about. The mutual cooperation between us. And so if we can just begin by giving sincere greetings to each other, giving a sincere handshake, being willing to acknowledge, okay, you're a little bit different than me, but that's you. That don't make you bad because you're not like me. I have to recognize your difference, recognize your distinction, recognize your uniqueness, recognize your variety. Recognize that, but you know what? We are one Muslim. And being one Muslim, there's one Lord. And we practice one religion, and we read one book, and we follow, quote unquote, one prophet. We know all the prophets are, we follow all of them, but our prophet, quote unquote, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we follow him, and he leads all the prophets. And so by following him, we're following also in the way of all the other prophets. So let us, brother and sister, let's think more in terms of our cooperation. Let go of old stuff. You don't want that. And in this, usually it's at weddings or at funerals, we find ourselves gathered in this way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us to have at least 2 times in the year where we can come together, not out of a wedding or out of a janazah, but just come together because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala invited us to come together. And let's practice what has been preached to us. Let's practice what we claim. Let's make conscious effort to really be both within and without what we have been invited to be. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. الله أكبر. One story that I'll tell in, well, I'm saying I'll tell one story, but you know, you've been listening, so you know what happens. But inshallah, one story, inshallah. The Kaaba, right? There's a cornerstone. The Kaaba, Hajratul Aswad, the black stone. The story is told in many variations. There's a story of a traveler coming into a town at a time when there's a post-war time. So they still had buckboards, horses. So it's really like post-World War I. So man comes in with his horse. He has all his big kettles and on his truck, or not his truck, his buckboard, let's call it. And so he comes into the town and everybody's in their building. So they look out because everybody's off into their own world. So they look out, the guy comes in, and so everybody watches him from wherever from their vantage point. And so he goes to his buckboard, his wagon, and he takes this big pot out and sets a fire like a campfire. And so he sets the big cauldron on top of that fire, fills it up with water, and then he takes this velvet bag out of his sash here, and then he puts it in the pot. So he's looking at it. So people slowly come out, look at him, going through these motions. And he said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm making some delicious stone soup. It is really, really wonderful. You have to try it. But it's not quite as good as it would be if we had some vegetables to go with it." So now these people had been looking out for their own and holding back from everybody else because nobody's going to get my vegetables, nobody's going to get my meat, etc. So then someone said, "Oh, I have some carrots." And so a person brings the carrots and they put the carrots into the pot. And the man said, "Excellent, wonderful. Can you smell that? Oh, I can taste it now. But I once had some stone soup in the town about 40 clicks away, and it was just so delicious because it had salt beef in it. Man, if we had some salt beef, it'd be wonderful." So the butcher who had been holding back his meat for higher prices, he brought it out and put it in and said, "Ah, excellent." And it went on and on and on until there was a big pot of soup, and everybody in the town ate from that soup. And after everyone was filled, the man took the stone they had put in the water to begin with, pulled out his velvet bag and put it back in the sash, and put it on the side and started packing himself to go away. And so many people said, "I'll give you $100. I'll give you more of this for that stone that you have, that magic stone that you have." They wanted to pay for that stone because they thought it was a magic stone. There was no magic in that stone. It was just a token that forced the people out of their false position of greed and withholding. And because they'd had that superstitious mentality that the traveler knew, he knew that he could trick them into making soup for themselves, because he also knew you already have what you need in order to make that soup. But you just don't cooperate with each other to make that soup. You got meat, you got vegetables, you got water, you got all these other things. You can make your own soup. But you haven't decided that you have the justification for cooperation, so I'm going to create a technology-based behavior that causes you to do what you should do anyway. In reality, our stone is the black stone of the Kaaba. And it's an invitation to us to be what Allah ordered us to be. And so whatever we moan about, we don't have schools, well, you got what it takes to start a school, but do you have the will to start a school? We don't have our own economy. You have what it takes to start your economy, but do you have the will to start your economy? Do you have the faith to start your economy? Do you have the commitment and the conviction to start your economy? Or do you rather just look like you're a Muslim and say, yeah, I'm Muslim, alhamdulillah, assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and then go spend all your money with the Yahud, go spend all your money with the Nasara, and spend none of your money with the Muslims, and let the poor Muslims, let them die. If they fall off, that's their fault. Allah blesses whom He wills. Well, then you're no different than the neocons. You're no different than the Republicans that have that mentality. If you can't make it, survival of the fittest. And when you subscribe to that, you have gone away from being a Muslim in reality. So, brother and sister, it is what it is. Inshallah, we can either stand together as men or hang separately as fools. And yes, that does include women. Allah's peace be on you. Assalamu alaikum. Eid Mubarak.